Welcome into the Train with the Best podcast. I'm Craig Hoffman.
Chris Gorres.
And we are in Phoenix, Arizona, where we have already recorded half of a podcast today with Nick Symmonds, which we'll fill everybody in on in just a minute. Nick also has inspired us. So if you're watching us on YouTube, what's up? Hello. We're going to start posting our podcast there, which actually the irony is, as we sit here together, it's harder to do it for us this way to go on YouTube, where normally I can just record the Zoom. But here we are sitting together in this here Airbnb.
Yeah, sitting on the couch. I mean, it's a natural transition for us, so I'm excited to be able to expand the presence a little bit on YouTube and honestly, like, be able to give you a little bit more because, you know, being on YouTube, that gives us a chance to shoot some videos too and some content because a lot of the stuff that we explain on this would be great if we could just show some of like the corrective continuum or show some of the exercises that we talk about or show things like how to modify your shin angle on an RFE for depending on what you want. So, you know, just adding the visual to the voice, I think it'll be good.
Plus, you got a fresh haircut.
And got a haircut, so now I'm going to have to get haircuts more often or find some more hats. I don't know.
Hats,
we'll see.
Hats are great. So on today's podcast, besides celebrating a new step for us, which we decided on an hour ago with Nick sitting right here, we are going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then we are going to talk a little bit about our trip to Phoenix so far. We worked out with Natalie this morning at 6 in the morning, which some of you may have seen on our story. Chris was bear crawling. Rachel was very happy. And then we're going to talk about, a dream feels very aspirational, but it's kind of a dream that you have. It's a goal that feels like more grounded.
A goal, yeah.
A goal that you have for your 40th birthday coming up in September.
Yeah, it's a goal because there's a plan to get there. Like a dream is just like, oh, I wish I hit the lottery. Like that's that's a dream. Like there's going to be an actual goal. There's a goal. There's an actual plan that I'm going to execute, and we'll see how it works.
So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Super Bowl on Sunday, Rams take home their first franchise or their first. It's their second in franchise history. They're first in Los Angeles. First of the Sean McVay era. We'll see, especially by the time this comes out. We're recording this on Wednesday. This won't come out till Monday. Who knows? Sean McVay may be retired from coaching by then.
That era might be over, right.
You know, along with Aaron Donald and Andrew Whitworth and who knows what other shakeup they have.
Right.
But a guy that we both know and have worked with, you know, you more directly, as Sean was on that staff in 2012 when you were there. I obviously covered him, so didn't work with him, but like worked in covering him and had a good relationship with him while he was in Washington. Beyond happy for him. Same thing for Kevin O'Connell, who won the game as the offensive coordinator and is now off to Minnesota.
Raheem Morris was one of the reasons why I went to Cornell. Like he was on the Cornell coaching staff when I was recruited, and he was one of the main reasons why I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good place to come.
So actually, I don't know if I knew that. So what, like when you met Raheem Morris for the first time, what was he doing at that stage of his coaching career?
Coach Raw was the defensive backs coach at Cornell University, and he was a very young coach at the time. He had just finished up playing. I think
he's still a really young coach in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean he finished playing. I mean, I guess I was at Cornell almost 20 years ago. So yeah, so back then he had just finished playing at Hofstra. So he was still very much in shape, and he was one of those coaches that we got along with very easily because he was almost our age. So, you know, he would watch film with us, and he would run the study halls and all those other things. And he was a nice presence to have around versus my head coach, Coach Mangorian, or we called him Coach Mango. He was a very different personality, very like old school. You didn't talk to him. You didn't look him in the face. You know, that he was very intimidating to be around. So Coach Raw was like the guy that would come in, like Coach Mango would come and chew you out, and then Coach Raw would come by and like give you the actual message of like how to use that into something that you could.
He was the translator,
right? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've always known him, and he was the defensive backs coach at Washington as well when Sean McVay was the tight ends coach. Mm-hmm. And at the time, of course, like Kyle Shanahan was offensive coordinator, Matt LaFleur was quarterbacks coach. Like that coaching tree is amazing to see where that's gone. If you take a look at the playoffs just from this year, it was all Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan. So it's cool to see those guys moving on and doing great things.
For sure. When you met Ra for the first time, because you knew him so long ago relative to where he is now, did you know like that dude's different, that dude's special, that dude's going places?
He's the same exactly where he is now, and when he was in Washington and when he was at Cornell.
That's
like
kind of cool too, because at this point the Washington thing was like 10 years ago. So like you kind of got him 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and then we see him win the Super Bowl now.
He's the kind of guy that's going to call you out, but do it in a way where it's kind of like fun and challenge you and say that like, hey, I'm calling you out, but I'm going to work on this with you. You know what I mean? Like he'll tell you suck to your face, but he'll be like, we're going to fix it and I'm going to help you fix it. You know what I mean? So, you know, he was one of those guys that you appreciated because yeah, he was going to call you out, but he did the same thing to everybody. He wasn't going to play favorites. And, you know, he didn't do it in a spiteful way because he hated you. He called you out because you needed to get called out. We always appreciated that about him.
One of the things that I think is really interesting and came into clear view as I was thinking about the coaching staff specifically and the guys that I knew Sean and Kevin. Rob was gone by the time I got to DC and started covering Washington, the now Commanders.
Right.
But I was thinking about like what makes a successful head coach and what makes really a successful coach, but head coach specifically, because when you're a coordinator or a position coach, I think especially the coordinator level, like your level of expertise is so important. Like that you really do need to be that X's and O's savant kind of person.
Right.
Of course you need to be an effective communicator, but your knowledge is what's going to take hold versus as a head coach, like your job is to manage everybody.
Sure.
And I think that you don't even have to be that special of an X's and O's guy. And this is why a lot of coordinators don't wind up being successful head coaches. And maybe even some head coaches weren't the best coordinators and wouldn't make the best coordinators, but they're so good at managing people that they're truly meant for that more executive role. Just like in a lot of workplaces all around, you know, the good salesperson doesn't make the good sales manager, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And as I think of Sean, definitely, I think what people don't realize about him is his people skills.
Yeah.
He is someone who is known as the boy wonder, and yeah, he's great at X's and O's, and yeah, his energy is great, but like his people skills, his ability to maintain or build, maintain, and develop relationships is next level. And I think especially in like the machismo world of football,
sure,
with a bunch of old dudes that are owners, like being able to hire a head coach based off empathy and trying to hire a head coach based off of those people skills is something that's not going to be at like the top of their list, and it really should be. And that's why I'm so happy to see someone like Kevin get a job. It's like Kevin's going to be great at that stuff. Kevin's great at making people feel seen and heard, and that's really, really important for a head coach. It's not the only thing. You need a lot of other characteristics. It's a really hard job. There's work ethic type stuff, which is part of the reason Sean might retire, is because he works so hard and it's just unsustainable. But when you think about like the leading characteristics and traits of what makes a good head coach, and I think about this Super Bowl, and I watched Sean be really successful in such a short time in LA. 5 years he's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one at 36 years old. Like I think that empathy and that ability to connect with people is something that if you're an NFL organization and you're really smart and you want to find what's going to make a successful head coach, that would be at the top of my list.
Yeah, and it's not, like you said, it's not just successful head coach, it's a successful organization overall. Like for you to have a successful organization, whether it's a team or a company or whatever, the person who is in that leadership role has to be able to do two things. Has to be able to keep everybody on the same page and make everybody feel like they still have a say and they have that individuality, that creativity, that chance to grow and be themselves, right? So whether you're a coach at a boutique fitness spot like Orange Theory or Onyx, or you're a player who is a special talent on a team like the Rams, if you're Aaron Donald or OBJ or Cooper Kupp, how do you keep all of those people on the same page, but each one of them still feels like they can be an individual? That's a very special thing. And like you said, that's where people skills goes a long way. Because as a head coach, not only are you dealing with the players, but you're also dealing with the coaches, right? You have to have your coaching staff make sure they're on the same page. And then the players are on the same page. And everybody's working towards one thing without feeling like they have to sacrifice their individuality. Right. Because once people start feeling like they're sacrificing too much of themselves as an individual, then they're not going to buy in.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
So, and that's what Sean does so well.
Yeah, I think it's just, again, such a special quality to connect with people and make them feel seen. Like I remember there's some times that Sean and I were together outside of the facility, and like he would text a player because he saw the NFL Top 100 countdown. He's like, yeah, you're going to be a beast this year. Like, I can't believe they put you at this number or whatever. Like there's just those little things that you know that that kind of thing would mean so much to an Odell Beckham, a Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, really trying to maximize their talents. Yeah. And I've seen other coaches that are like mediocre, that are like, they won games and they're really, really smart, but you're like, you don't have the people skills to be successful with the long term. And I think when you think about successful coaches and why maybe it doesn't translate from college to the pros, for instance, like I think about Urban Meyer through this lens, and I'm going, right, Urban Meyer led not by empathy, not by connecting with people. Yeah, he was a dictator. That works in college. The kids are 22, or the oldest. Like they're 19 to 22. Right. Mm-hmm. They're used to being dictated to by parents, teachers, high school coaches, whatever. They're not making any money, so the power dynamic is there. And if you burn them out, it doesn't matter. They're gone in 3 years. Right, you can look past some differences, the way you're treated, whatever, because you share the common goal of winning. And after 3 years, you leave and you go to the NFL and everyone's happy. In the NFL, he gets to the NFL and he doesn't last a season because he tries to do the same way. And you got guys that are like, no, I'm an adult. I have a family. I make more money than you. Yeah. And this is not how we do things here. And like, yeah, I've been here longer than you. What are you doing? You don't have the track record to treat me like this. Right. And I'm a human being and you're not going to treat me like this. Right. So I think that is something that to do that at the NFL level is spectacular. And I think if you think about other successful coaches in other places, like that's what makes Greg Popovich great. Yeah, that's absolutely what makes Doc Rivers great. That's what makes Steve Kerr great.
And Bill Belichick. I mean, look, if you talk to people who have played for Bill Belichick, they'll say the same thing about him. Like, yeah, he puts on this old curmudgeon thing for the press and all that, but behind closed doors and when he's with his team, he is not that person, you know? So, right. Everywhere that you go, and again, not just isolated to the world of sports, but if you look at a successful company where not only is that company making money, but the employees that work for that company are happy, I think they would say the same thing about their leader, right? Like, yeah, they keep us on the same page, and we still feel like we have input. We feel like we're treated with respect for our individualism or whatever.
Right. Systems are really important. Roles are really important to establish. Understanding what people's boxes that they're in within an organization are. But like when you have special people, you need to be able to break those molds or readjust them, or have enough room in your boxes that people can still stretch out and flex.
And that's why systems and principles are so important, because it's not the method that we need them to follow, it's the principles that we need them to follow. Hey, these are our core principles. Mm-hmm. As long as we stay within these core principles, I'm cool with you doing your thing. You know what I mean? Versus, no, this is the play that we're going to run and you're going to run it.
Totally. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about our Phoenix trip so far and this goal that Chris has for his 40th birthday coming up in September. The Train with the Best podcast is brought to you by Super Coffee, the same delicious coffee brand that has sponsored us for nearly 4 years. That's right. We've been with Super Coffee since before they were on Shark Tank with the old formula. Now they've got a new formula. I mean, it's not even new anymore. It's just been delicious and creamy and exactly the way it is for basically 3 years now. And they've added an incredible suite of products. So no matter how you start your morning with K-Cups or grounds or just grabbing something that's easy and convenient on the go, Super Coffee has you covered. Me, I'm an OG guy. Just told you, we've been with them for a long time. That ready-to-drink coffee with 10 grams of protein, MCTs from coconut oil, and of course, 0 sugar is how I start each and every morning, or what I grab if I need to pick me up in the middle of the day. And you can get yours for 25% off at drinksupercoffee.com. All right, continuing on here on the Train with the Best podcast, our trip to Phoenix so far. Got in yesterday, got the rental car after a long time. If you're ever flying into Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, make sure you leave plenty of time to get the rental car. Unfortunately, your flight was not as on time, so I went and found some tacos and then picked you up. I
think everything you've eaten on this trip so far has come in a taco shell or tortilla.
It's coming in a tortilla. That is typically what happens when I'm in Phoenix. I think lunch may have to be a little different, but also maybe not.
I mean, like I said, like I typically don't. I do whatever's local, right? So like if I'm on the coast, I'll eat seafood. There are no beaches here in Arizona, so I'm not going to look for sushi
sand,
or
no beaches.
Yeah. So hey, we'll stick with the chorizo.
Bomb breakfast burrito this morning.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Eat with the Best podcast. Welcome. But then we got to see Zoe last night, which was great.
Yeah.
Got to go over to his house, which is amazing. He and Mans did a great job building their dream home out here. If you saw on our Instagram back when last week, as you're hearing this week as we're recording it, like you saw the den, which we've done some stuff in before, like he redid it. It's incredible.
I mean, if you followed us since the beginning, you know that this podcast started in the den,
right?
Where it was literally right next to like a squat rack that we squeezed into a small room that he had in his house, and now he's got like a whole garage that he dedicated, and he's got all his memorabilia in there, and it's a sweet setup. So, yeah, I was really excited to see that for him. I mean, he's worked so hard. He deserves all that. Yeah. His family deserves all that. So, you know, to see what he's done and created for himself and for his family, I mean, it's a blessing to see all that.
Had a nice little dinner, and then we went to bed about 9:30 because we're on East Coast time, and that was like 11:30. And we also decided that we were going to take advantage of this time change. And we got up this morning, and we were at Exos at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I think we said this in the car. Like, there's -% chance that I would ever wake up that early to work out. Yeah, not home. Not at 6 a.m. Not at 30 degrees.
No,
0%.
Definitely not.
Like, not.
I always told this to clients that wanted to train early. I'm okay with it in the summer. Like, if I'm gonna be driving to work and the sun's up, the 7 a.m. I don't mind. The 6 a.m. still early, but the 7 a.m. I don't really honestly mind during the summer. Bro, when it's 30 degrees and dark, and especially like, thankfully now I live in an apartment building where I park in a garage and I don't have to worry about like de-icing my car. Yeah. But I used to joke with one of my 7 a.m. clients, like, I'm going to charge you an extra $25 every time I got to scrape ice off my car when I lived in Reston and was parking outside. Dang. Brutal.
I mean,
it's Arizona. We don't got to worry about that out here.
I mean, I did it for years, and I would have the 6 a.m. clients down in D.C., and I was living out in like Leesburg at the time. So like... Yeah, it was brutal. I luckily don't have to do that anymore. We have a great setup, and we've got coaches who can do that. So I don't do that. I don't really need to wake up that early. But it's good to take advantage of the day when you come out here and you're already 2 hours ahead because of the time shift. And yeah, it's like
you wake up naturally at 5 a.m.
You
wake
up.
All right, let's go.
I woke up at like 4:30, and I'm like, crap, I can't go back to bed. I might as well just be up. So
well, first I was mad because I was like 5:15. I was like, why couldn't I have just slept another 10 minutes to my alarm? But I already been kind of rolling around for 20 minutes. I was like, oh, because my body thinks it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. So what is fun is you work out, you get a great workout, and Natalie put us through the ringer. She snuck it in like, oh, I'm just gonna move around.
We're just gonna do 2 or 3 blocks,
and then we go get breakfast, and we're ready to hit the day, and it's still only like 8:30 in the morning, so that is fun.
That was great. So the workout, I actually loved the way she organized it, and it's something that I've kind of been playing with an alternate version of, based off of all things, an Exos education thing that I've been taking, one of their online courses on speed and power development, and in that it talks about like, do your set, 90 seconds hard time rest. Do your set, 90 seconds hard time rest. You do like 3 of those, each pairing. Like it's 2 exercises that are playing off each other.
Right.
And that's 3 minutes.
Right.
And the exercise itself, because it's power, takes 10 seconds. Right. So 10 seconds, 90 seconds, 10 seconds, 90 seconds, 3-minute block.
Yeah.
Do that 3 times. That's 9 minutes. You do 3 blocks of that, 3 by 3. It's 27 minutes. You add in like a 15-minute warm up. That's a great 45-minute workout.
Yeah.
And what Natalie did is kind of like an EMOM, every minute on the minute, but we did every 2 minutes.
Right.
So she gave us, a couple exercises like upper body, lower body, core.
Yeah.
Went through it. When 2 minutes was up, so we had somewhere between a minute 20 or 40 seconds rest, depending on which block we were in and how fast we were moving. It was great. And what I think was really great about it is not just like, yes, it's a very good workout. It keeps your heart rate going a little bit, so you never get, you're never getting cold, all that kind of stuff. But for busy people, which I feel like a lot of times trainers are, it's like, can I get there an hour before my first client and get a workout in? Or can I sneak this in? You're on a clock.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
It's a way to keep yourself organized that is really effective, but allows you to do the kind of work that we all want to do. You can get true strength work in if you want to. You can get, true, not like true max M, but like you can go pretty heavy in
if
that.
If you wanted to today, you could have.
You just lower the reps and the stuff that we did, but like the idea of being on a clock and making it kind of more 2-minute or every 3-minute or whatever it is, and just really holding yourself accountable in that way is a way to kind of plan out too. Like, I know I have 45 minutes and I can tell you exactly how long the meat of my workout is going to take.
Yeah, I think like this is exactly how I would have run the session if I was training a group of trainers. right? Like when you're training clients, it's a little bit different because you have to give them a little bit more direction. Here, it's like, let's set up the blocks. Let's keep you on the clock. And then what I like about the EMOM or the modified EMOM is like you set your own pace. So depending on you, if you wanted this to be a power workout or a strength workout or a metabolic workout, your pace is up to you. Right. So I've got 2 minutes to complete 3 moves. Now you and Natalie were kind of getting it, and I'm like, no, I got 2 minutes to finish. Like I don't need a minute rest if I take my time and work my way through. So I challenge myself a little bit more, like on the bench and the push-ups, and I moved through the 3 movements. Like you guys were done with all 3 movements by the time I was starting my 3rd.
Right.
Because I knew I've got 2 minutes.
Right.
So I'm like, all right.
We just took a different approach.
Yeah. So that's why like it gives the freedom for people to make it their own workout. And when you're with a group of trainers, that's what you want. Like this was perfect. I think Natalie, I don't know if she did that on purpose or by accident, probably on purpose because she's a great coach. That's exactly how I would have liked to work out. And again, it's good to be in that group with other trainers to push yourself a little bit and push yourself a little bit further than you would if you were on your own. Right? We finished up with everybody's favorite, the Versa Climber. So that was like,
you liked it for those first 2 blocks, and then we did a true circuit. And
the Versa Climber one was like, damn it, I was hoping to not go over to this side of the gym, but here we are. So like everybody hates the Versa Climber. If you don't know what the Versa Climber is, good for you. Don't
Google
yourself.
it, but don't ever find yourself.
We
on
did
one.
Versa Climber into sled push, which is like, oh my god, what are we doing? And then the ropes and the abs, like abs of choice, right? So that at that point it was like, all right, the rest periods are off. Let's get through the 4 cycles as fast as we can. And that's when I had to dig deep, and I was like, all right. Here we go. That's when everything is screaming at me. My hamstrings are screaming at me because they're tight sitting on the plane. My jet lag is screaming at me. So I'm like, oh, let's just make this through. And then it was cool. Like you push through, and then it's still 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right, you did it. It's 7 o'clock. You're done with your workout. Film some content. Hashtag content. Exactly. And then you go have a delicious breakfast burrito.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Natalie. I mean, that was a great workout. And just being able to work out in the facility at Exos, it's like freaking. I've always said this is like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Of,
it's Disney World. It's Wonka's place. It's
and everybody leaves here thinking, and I think you even said it in the car, like, man, I want to build this, and you're like, no, you can't build this. This is
right.
You can't. Again, like this is Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
That's
like,
a dream, not a goal. Right.
That's a dream. Right. Hey, if I hit the lottery, if I can go back in time 20 years ago and invest in Bitcoin and then come back, I'm going to build myself an Exos. Like,
right.
Cool. Figure that out, and then I'll do that with you. But, I mean, to be able to work out, and for me, it's a special place because I feel like I come back here like every 10 years. Like I started out, maybe not every 10 years, every few years, every 6 or 7 years or whatever. I started out when this facility was just built. They had moved over from Tempe. When they were at ASU, and Mark was still here, like he would float around the floors, and he was doing his thing where he does his little sound effects, like he does all this stuff. And then coming back a few years later and connecting with Joel and with Dennis, and then being back here now just to kind of see what has changed, what has stayed the same. We got my guy Zach DeBrani is over here. He's the PT intern right now, finishing up this summer or finishing up at the end of this spring. I'm going to meet the new head of physical therapy who also happens to be a Filipino guy. So cool to see people from my country do cool things. It's awesome to reconnect here. And for me personally, like it's always like a cool experience to be back here and to remember all of the different people that I've met through here, and all of the things that I've done being inspired by this place.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, like the cool thing about walking in there is the acceptance I feel is like, as I've progressed in this field, you start off with this major imposter syndrome. It's like, am I getting into these doors just because like I know how to talk into a microphone, right? Like, and now to walk in and be like, yeah, like, hey, if you just want to work out, like you guys can do whatever you want. Like we trust you, right? Like that acceptance on like the trainer level.
Yeah, for sure.
It's something different.
The first time you walk in here, you're like, don't touch anything, right? It's like,
right.
Don't even look over there. Don't breathe on anything,
right?
You know. And then the second time you walk in here, they show you around. Then you actually see stuff that you didn't see before, kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff. And then now you're walking in, and they're like, yeah, you guys. Yeah. This is your place.
Like
you
we walked
do
in
whatever
this
you
morning, and Natalie was like, "What do you guys want to do?" And if like I had programmed the workout, she'd have been like, "Okay, great, we're gonna do that." Yeah. I was like, "No, whatever your usual is, like that's fine."
Yeah.
You know, we want to see how you live, so to speak, but
right.
Just to kind of see as you know as. We always used to joke, or I was used to joke, that like train with the best was kind of funny because it was like train with the best, it's you, it's him. And now it's like, all right, I can at least contribute to the conversation and feel like I can do a good job. And it really, I think it done it, you know, and to walk into a place like Exos and not feel overwhelmed and feel like accepted on a trainer level, that's pretty cool as a thing for me.
That's good. And you know what? We've always said training with the best was never talking about us in the first place. Training with the best was like, hey, like what would it be like to train with the best and learn from the best and see what other people are doing. So that's why we love having the guests on here to talk about their methodologies, their principles, and how they mesh with our principles. So training with the best was never about us. And this is exactly what training with the best was for. It was like for us to be able to go out to Arizona or to Florida or to wherever and get a workout in and just kind of connect with other people who are in the industry. Because I think for those of you who are listening and who are trainers and who have connected with us in the past, you know, like this is a pretty niche group, and we all go through certain challenges that are very similar. And the more we can help each other, man, I think that's really the mission of what this podcast is all about.
Totally. It's the network of everybody.
Yeah.
And continuing to add and grow that network and strengthen the bonds that already exist is exactly why we do this. The Train with the Best podcast is brought to you by Momentous and the brand new collagen shot. It's a unique, one-of-a-kind product that you're not going to find anywhere else. It's a gel pack. You take 2 of them about 60 minutes before you work out, and your collagen synthesis will double. That's right, will double compared to if you didn't take them at all. Collagen, incredibly important, not just for skin, nail, hair health, but for your connective tissues, for your joints. It's really necessary to supplement your type 1 and type 3 collagens, which is exactly what's in the Momentous collagen shot. Now, in order for that whole process to happen at maximum efficiency, you also need vitamin C. And the exact amount you need is in the Momentous collagen shot. It's the only collagen supplement gel on the market. It's not a pre-workout, but you take it before, and it kind of primes your system, and then that movement during your workout is what actually spurs on the synthesis. So to learn more, head to livemomentous.com, and while there, buy you some. And do it at 25% off. That's right. Set up a subscription order and make sure that you use the code TRAINWITHTHEBEST25. You'll get 25% off your first order and 15% all the refills. Try the new collagen shot today at livemomentous.com, and don't forget the code TRAINWITHTHEBEST25. New sponsor alert. That's right. Our friends at Jakku are now proud to sponsor the Train with the Best podcast. We actually got to use Jakku with the man who invented it, John Wells, in one of the videos we did with Nick Symmonds. Did I just spill the beans here in the ads late? There are 2 videos coming with Nick Symmonds. The first one will drop on March 1st, and you'll get to see Jakku in them. Jakku is a premier timing device, and when Nick used it, he thought, man, this thing, what does this cost? Like $2,000? No, it's $200, except for you. I'll get to that in a moment. You want to be able to time your 100-yard dash, your 100-meter dash, your 40-yard dash. Not only that, but say a 5-10-5 drill, something involving change of directions with laser precision level timing. Jakku is the system for you. It is easily accessible, and they also have team deals. So if you're a coach and you have an entire team, you want to be able to easily and effectively time a large group, or if you're just a single athlete trying to get that extra 10th on your 10-yard split. Jakku is what you need. They also have a great muscle blaster, so like a little personal massage gun. The Mini is incredible. You can honestly stick it in a sweatshirt pocket. It is that small. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to jakku.com/discount/TWTB. Again, that's Jakku, JAWKU.com/discount/TWTB, also linked in the show notes, and you'll get 20% off any of the Jakku products. We're really thrilled to have Jakku on board. It's a tremendous brand fit for us, and go check them out. Jakku.com/discount/TWTB. Last thing. What's your goal?
All right, so this year I'm going to turn 40. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm 40 years old. For those of you looking at the camera, I'm not 20. I am 40.
Despite the fresh haircut.
Yeah, right. So I thought it'd be cool to run a 40-yard dash at the age of 40, which is going to be September 28th, and I'm going to start working towards it. I've already started. My hamstrings can tell you that I've already started. And I'd like to get into the 4.8s. I think that's a realistic goal for me to be in the 4.8s. I'm not gonna match my best time ever, which was like 4.5s. So I'm not gonna get there. But I think that like saying I'd go under 5 is too easy of a goal. Not that would be easy, but like that's not pushing myself. I want to push myself a little bit, see if I can get to 4.8s, and then maybe I'll challenge some people and see who can cover a 40-year-old. Right, get out there and run some routes.
Get out there, start breaking people off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, see, I'll walk out there looking like Uncle Drew. I'll grow my hair out and make myself look real like a real
haggard
Filipino uncle. And see if they can cover me. Right, because I think that. I think that they'll be surprised that I know how to get off jams, right? Because that's the first thing people are going to do. Be like, oh, I'm just going to jam you at the line. Like, okay, all right, let's see.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm pretty confident in my ability to get off a jam, and then just knowing how to run routes and stuff. So I think it'd be fun. But I gotta get to September 1st, and hopefully, I mean, knock on wood, no injuries or anything like that, and yeah, run my 4.8 and. Yeah, I'll take it from there.
If we strapped Jakku on you right now, by the way, shout out to the new sponsor, Jakku.
Right.
Welcome to the family. If we slapped the Jakku on you right now, where do you think you'd be?
I don't know, man. Maybe like high 4.9s.
Okay, so you think you're already sub 5 right now?
Yeah, I think not
I know that shaving another tenth and change off is not hard.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like it's not like you're trying to come down. Like if I was like, I want to run 4.8 again, we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Your boy's not in sprinting shape.
That's hopeful thinking. Not like now, because right now I'd probably run a 6-second 40 if I got off this couch or got off this chair. But if you told me next week we're running a 40, I think I could bust out a sub 5-second 40.
Okay.
For one rep, and then like I'd be dead.
Let's see. It's the 18th, the 16th now. Why don't we run one on the 28th? And then you got 7 months.
7 months. Okay. We'll try.
All right. That's a plan.
There we
now
go.
That we got the Jakku sponsorship.
Like I said, it's not like I've been doing nothing, right? So I've been working with this kid. His name is Juwan Carter. So shout out to Pootie. He's out in New Orleans right now for a Senior Bowl. He's a quarterback at Norfolk State. And I've been working with him on his 40 and teaching him how to run that. So it's not like I've been doing nothing. I've been demonstrating how to do all the starts and all this other stuff. So that's why I feel like I'm gonna have a good start, a decent start. It's not gonna be a world beater, but I'll have a decent start. Power it through for another 2.5 seconds, and then let's see what that time comes in at. But yeah, I really want to get into the 4.8s come September. Yeah, and we'll see what happens in a couple weeks when we do the baseline test.
All right, I like it. So everyone can look forward to that. Again, shout out to Jakku and welcome them to the Train with the Best family. If you want to get your Jakku, it's 20% off using the code. I think it's TWTB. I'll have it correct in the ad. We just got the copy. I haven't recorded the ads yet, so there's your behind the scenes on this pod.
Right.
And other than that, it's time for us to go get some lunch.
Let's get some lunch. Some more
tacos. It's time to go film with Nick, Zoe, and Nat. And then I guess we're probably going to come back here and record a recap
nap.
later. Yeah, after a nap.
Right.
But this has been a great trip so far. We're excited to get to the meat of it today. And who knows what other shenanigans we're going to get into with Nick tomorrow. I think he wants us to lift a car. Who knows? So we'll see how that goes. And we'll see you next week here on the podcast.